Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another action-packed episode of the Gauntlet, your place for the NFL coverage on the Sideline Sports Network, available on all Sideline Sports Network platforms. Make sure you guys tune in on all of our platforms. Make sure you guys tune in on Roku. Make sure Abigail TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere to watch Sideline Sports. We got an action-packed show tonight, guys. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Sports Morons of the Week, as always. We have our Gauntlet Grinders for week 3. We have the Tush Push controversy. I'm wearing my Eagles jersey tonight. Everyone keeps talking about, are we going to ban this play? Should it be banned? We will have that discussion later on. Deion Sanders in Colorado, everything going on there. We haven't really talked too much about that on our show. And then our non-sports topic is very interesting tonight. It's going to be the cost of living and inflation, everything going on in the United States. In 10 years' time, we all know how much the cost of living has changed, but is it changed so much that it could become unlivable at some point? That's definitely a conversation that I'm looking forward to having. So, Jay, you can go ahead and bring everybody on if you don't mind, and we'll go ahead and get our show started. Jay is in the house. What's up, my man? How are you?
What's going on, man? Doing good. Man, when we get to that tush push controversy, I got a play from the past. I'm gonna bring up that.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
pretty sure you know what it is too.
Yes, sir. I know what it is, but go ahead and bring on the rest of the crew.
All right, and then we have this idiot,
Detroit Dom. What's up, my guy? Coming off the win last night, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
It's a strange feeling, and I was saying it all week leading up, like, man, it's kind of weird. Only 4 weeks into the season, and 2 of them, I don't get to watch the Lions on Sunday because I already watched them win on Thursday.
I've got the strangest feeling.
We all clean swept for record on the picks. All of us picked Lions. Lions dominated.
Go ahead, bring birthday boy on.
Oh, you mean Scarface?
Scarface. What's up, birthday boy? Celebrated his birthday this week. Joseph. How you doing, brother?
Jenkins, the denim jacket is bad, baby. Look at this. Look at all Chris.
I met a new friend this week. So her name is Ciroc and Watermelon. It is such a wonderful person.
Oh my God.
So I decided to introduce her to you guys. She is very nice. She's a very nice person. And I think my friends Amsterdam and Pineapple, they're feeling jealous, but I don't care because Ciroc is a very nice person. How you guys doing?
Man, happy to see you getting
good. I'm in first place. My team already won this week.
You are. You're 3-1. And there's talk about y'all possibly being another team to factor in for the NFC. Isn't that crazy?
It's 1 week at a time. I'm for
the man
literally
at the top may
until
not,
we've clinched the playoff spot. I'm going straight smug Bill Belichick.
I heard that they were saying that
Carolina. I'm to Carolina.
I heard that they were saying the team in Detroit has a chance to beat the team in Philly, but I don't know. I didn't think that, but that's what they're saying.
If you say so, buddy. Let's go ahead and bring on. Let's bring on our guest. We got a familiar face joining the show tonight, guys.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen this cornball. What's up, boy?
What's up?
Hey, I'm back, baby. What up, guys?
What's going on, bro? How are you?
All I got to say is the fact that he called him Scarface got me lit right now. Speaking of first place teams,
Steve, thanks for tuning in. What's your question? Let us know as we get our show started. So, guys, start off the show the same every single week. It's time for Sports Morons of the Week, the time of the show where we talk about the worst and most dumbest takes and things in the world of sports. Jay, run the clip for me. Shout out to John Shearer, man. Like John was just as much disgusted as I was. I was back at the NFL draft when we were in Kansas City. So, part of the show we talk about the worst takes Jordan, I want you to start us off. Do you have a sports moron in mind for this week?
I do. I seen a little something that Sean Payton said, the previous head coach of the Broncos, did a terrible job.
Yeah.
And we're coming
Nathaniel
off
Hackett.
a couple days removed of him getting 70 points dropped on his forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's just poetry. Like last season, he was saying how he thought Tua was going to get benched and stuff, and then like Tua was responsible for putting foots in his ass. So it's just
Yes.
poetic, man. You got to love it.
Like, I could barely score 70 on Madden, and this happened in real life.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they could have got the record as well, but they elected not to kick the field goal. So
Yeah.
very interesting. Joseph, if you have one, you can go ahead and take it from here.
I do have one.
Okay.
It's those boys in Boulder, Colorado, and for how they treated the Oregon Ducks when they came in to play that game. Karma is a B, and I do believe in you guys, but one thing I do not agree with is coming to somebody's home turf as if you've ever beaten that team before with those players and sitting there saying you're going to kill Ducks, y'all ain't nothing, y'all this and this. Shiloh Sanders, you got your butt worked. Shador Sanders, you got your butt worked. Now you guys know, and I'm hoping your coach sat there and said, be confident, but respect, understand where you're coming from, because this will happen again. Go to USC and do that thing. Be confident in yourself. But what y'all was doing right there, I'm surprised they didn't put 70 on you, to be honest with you, because that's what I would have done if I'm the Oregon Ducks and I see you coming in and
USC might do it.
And scratching up the turf that are people that spend hours on end trying to make great and everything, talking about you gonna kill something. I believe in y'all, but y'all haven't got to that point yet. Y'all haven't got to that point yet. And clearly karma is, like I said, showed you how real it is, because now after that game, y'all quiet. Y'all got real quiet. And you never should have
bring
sat
energy
there.
for USC.
We will see. Maybe this go around, you'll just play your game. If you just played your game and not talk that trash, because y'all were drinking the Kool-Aid. And because y'all drank the Kool-Aid, you found that Kool-Aid was sour. It was too much sugar up in that joint. You tripping.
I think that's a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
Dom.
I was going to say something about Chandler Jones, but I can't even call him a moron because really I'm kind of concerned about what's going on with him. So I'm going to have to recycle what I said on Wednesday. You two heard it, but Jordan and JJ did not. And this is classic Arizona Cardinals, the poverty franchise. So Josh Dobbs, a couple days before that primetime game against Dallas, he went onto the NFL shop to purchase jerseys for several of his family members. And for one, there was not one to purchase with his name on it. But not only that, he couldn't even, like, when he tried to, what number is he? 15? Whatever number it is.
9.
When he put in his name and his number, they were basically like, that's not an option. Like he wasn't on the roster or something. So shout out to you, Arizona Cardinals. You are a poverty franchise.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, Jay.
Well, mine actually was Sean Payton for the reason of his comments with Tua. The crazy part about it is before he even made those comments, just the week prior, and this was on the Colin Coward show. You know, Tua, he actually went 23 of 33 for 270 and 1 touchdown, and the Dolphins beat the Pats 20-7. And then he makes those comments, and then the thing, you know, just like Jordan said, he gets 70 dropped on his head. That was a humbling, you know, it was just been a humbling weekend for the state of Colorado, okay? And I guess you got to take the good with the bad. The Nuggets win the finals. Broncos and Buffaloes get blown out. So, you know, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen the rest of the year. We can probably foresee Denver Broncos' future. But, yeah, definitely Sean Payton's got to eat this one. Tua went out there with a purpose.
Quick question.
Why he should not be benched. What's up, man?
Worse acquisition, Russell Wilson or Sean Payton?
Oh, that's an easy one. That's definitely Joseph.
Yeah.
I've got no comment.
one one is one is 3 games into his tenure with the team. The other, Ciara's husband had a full season. So far, it's number 3.
Sierra's husband.
Well, I mean, I just think it's interesting because when you look at the Broncos, you brought in Sean Payton, and there was all this talk about how Sean Payton was going to do this and he was going to turn Russell Wilson around. And it looks like that Sean Payton is not really that great of a coach. It looks like, we have to give Drew Brees more credit because Drew Brees is a great quarterback, and without Brees, you pretty much haven't done anything.
We might have to keep this in perspective because what I've understood is that Russell actually played a little bit better to start than he did last year, but that defense took 10 steps backwards. And so I think a lot of it is just over time. Yes, Russell's been there for a year, but he's now in Sean Payton's system. When you're in somebody's new system, it's not going to be peachy keen within the first 4 weeks. If this was like week 8 or 9, I would be more inclined to agree with you guys and think that both of them are bad. But I think after this wake-up call right now, we might see this team get back to basics, but in no way I'm going to sit here and think that he hasn't changed anything. Maybe on the defensive side, because Vance Joseph needs to go. If their defense was the pride and joy of that team, and now that defense is getting slaughtered, that's a problem.
I'm actually surprised we got all the way through the Sports Moron segment and nobody has brought up the Dallas Cowboys for losing to the Cardinals. Like, we, on our pick show last week, we unanimously all picked the Cowboys to win this game by convincing fashion. Nobody saw this coming. The Dallas Cowboys were pushed around. They're absolutely embarrassed. The Cardinals ran for 180 yards in the first half. James Conner was slicing and dicing them up. Josh Dobbs was slicing and dicing them up. He was making it look easy. They were moving the ball up and down the field. Dak Prescott gets down in a crucial situation, and he throws a pass that just has you thinking, what the hell is this guy thinking? There's 3 Cardinals in the area, and there's 1 Cowboys receiver in the area. He's like, I just kind of feel like Dak thinks he can make these throws when he can't. Like, he thinks he can make throws like he's Joe Burrow, like he's Patrick Mahomes, or somebody like that. And he can't.
He's
so
occasionally
he puts the team in a bad situation. And the Cowboys, to me, just seem like a team that was expecting to just go in there and waltz in there and get a win. And doesn't matter if they play their best game, they could just win by playing with a C effort. And it came back to bite them. And this is a classic case of you cannot overlook teams in the NFL. Even if you think they're not on your level, they will catch you off guard on a bad day, and then you'll go home with a loss.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because Dak's interception is something I've seen Joe Burrow do. So I'm not going to sit there and say that everybody does it. And I always say to be a great quarterback, you're going to have to take some chances. A lot of times his chances don't come through, but that same interception, we picked Joe Burrow off, and he did the exact same thing. So are we saying that?
I don't understand why we got to take this to the Ravens when we're talking about.
I'm not saying that. I'm not taking it to the Ravens. I'm describing. You said that he thinks he can't make a throw like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, but yeah, Joe Burrow did the very same throw and got this very same result. So I don't necessarily think that he can't because
that's the thing.
What I will say, I think the defense came in after beating the Giants.
The latter two have the ability to.
Hold on, Dom. Let him finish. Please.
The defense came in a little cocky, and they got punched in the mouth because the offense was moving. They just couldn't get between the hashes. But that defense, this number one defense, this top defense that everybody was spouting on, got ran through. They got ran the freak through. And this team was sitting there thinking like, okay, Josh Dobbs, he's Zach Wilson. We ain't going to worry about him. And what did they do? They literally played their game against them.
That was a panic interception that Dak threw, and in my opinion, there's no other explanation. Because if you look at the play, and you all said it was 3 Cardinals in the area, even if you take away the linebacker underneath that actually picked the ball off, he was trying to thread the needle between 2 defenders. Dak is not a thread the needle type quarterback. He was better off trying to run for that touchdown. That was a panic.
I was going to say that myself. If you look at the still frame photo of that play, he had a lane to run for the touchdown.
He did. And he could have kept him in the game. Instead, he tried to be something he was not and thread the needle and got it picked off. Hell, it didn't even make it to the thread. The guy underneath picked it off that he obviously didn't see. So, yeah, it was a throw he had no business throwing.
I mean, at the end of the day, all quarterbacks feel like they can make that throw, but only the great ones make it. So if we're going to be clear, like a lot of quarterbacks
That's the
we
point.
think are great
That ain't great.
are not great. Like even Josh Allen's throwing a pick through that, trying to thread the needle. So it's like the whole point of trying to get to the greatness is that you take chances, you think you can make every single throw, and you'll figure out if you can get it or not. And if we be honest with you, there's a lot of, even going back to the greats, there's a lot of those type of throws that went their way out of blessing, not because they were actually skilled. It's just the ball bounced the right way. And they tell you all the time, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. Unfortunately, Dak's not getting the luck, and other quarterbacks do.
All right, that's about all we have time for this segment. Coming up next, we have our Gauntlet Grinders, where we take a look at the best performances from the week around the league. So you can typically pick one guy from the AFC and one from the NFC. So, Jordan, I'm going to have you start us off again. Who are your Gauntlet Grinders for week 3?
Okay, so for the AFC, I don't know so much about the NFC. I missed a whole bunch of games. But for the AFC, Miami Dolphins running back Devon A-Chain.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming, bro? 4 total touchdowns, 200 total yards. Wow. Like, that was an amazing performance. I even went and picked the dude up in fantasy. Like, can you please do it again? But as far as the NFC is concerned, man, I honestly don't even know. I'll give it to somebody like Kenneth Walker III.
Good pick.
Because he had a really good game last week. Like a really, really good game. Me personally, I didn't wake up to watch football until like 7 p.m. And when I woke up, I seen Miami had dropped all their points. I checked my fantasy teams and I seen Kenneth Walker III going crazy. I was like, bro, wow. So yeah, those are my two, grinding it out. And they're both young. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to JJ next. Gauntlet Grinder, AFC and NFC for week 3.
I'm going to stay with the same game, but I'm going to go with that quarterback because 23 for 26, 306 some yards, 4 touchdowns, and practically like a flawless game. Like, you can't get better than that. And if I gave the same credit to Kurt Warner when he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars many years ago, Arizona, I'm going to give the same to Tua Tagovailoa, especially for the simple fact of the matter is this team is looking good. This team is looking like you're went up against arguably a top 2 corner, and you made him look silly. You made him look silly. Like, that is a huge, and you did it without your second best wide receiver on your team. You did it with one of your best weapons, not the main. So you think that he will be covered, but he was sitting there. The cheetah is the cheetah. As far as the NFC, I have to give it to Christian McCaffrey. I love what he's doing in San Fran. They are putting teams away. He is far and away being the top back in the game this year. And it's just like, it seems like every week he can break it off. If they really wanted to pound him 20, 25 yards a game, I think he'd average 150 with the way this team is running the football and the way he's running the ball. And thank you, Christian. You've won me a lot of money. Thank you. I appreciate you for that one.
Point spread Jenkins strikes again.
Yes, sir.
Bingo!
Dom.
Go ahead, shout Detroit out. You're on mute.
I'll start in the AFC. It's Deshaun Watson, 27 of 33, 289 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He had exactly the game that all of us said that he needed to have. Led that team to victory. Still praying for Nick Chubb. I hear the injury is not that serious, but Deshaun Watson knew that he had to step up, and he did. And I'm no longer not convinced that the Texans version of Deshaun Watson just, went away and died or is on permanent vacation or something. Like, people forget how good he was with the Texans. Now he's got an O-line. which when your O-line's that good, because Cleveland's is top 5 at worst, you can put anyone back there. No Nick Chubb, no problem.
Yeah.
Who had heard of Jerome Ford before
Jerome Ford.
the second half of that game?
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, Deshaun Watson stepping up big time in the clutch. NFC, I'm going with the entire Detroit Lions defense, minimally the defensive line. One sack in the first 2 weeks. They finally get it going with 7 against Atlanta. Also 5 more last night. First 2 games of the year, everyone's like, "Where's Hutch? Where's Hutch?" Still getting pressures despite being double teamed. Then all of a sudden, Charles Harris gets a sack. Lee McNeil gets a sack. Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, Benito Jones. We had another one last night, I believe. And then all of a sudden, oh, look, Hutch gets 2 sacks. Not to mention the fact that we absolutely shut down Grey Poupon, Dijon Mustard, Robinson.
Can I just chime in real quick? Aiden Hutchinson
as a
is
team,
tied.
20 carries for 40.
Hold on. Go ahead, Jordan. What were you going to say?
Aiden Hutchinson is tied with TJ Watt and someone else with 19 pressures, tied for the league.
Nice.
Huge season for Aiden Hutchinson so far. So, Jay, AFC, NFC, Gauntlet Grinder, go.
AFC Gauntlet Grinder, man, it goes to the rookie out of University of Houston, Tank Dell. In the win versus the Jaguars, he had 5 receptions for 145 and a touchdown. He averaged 29 yards per catch, including the game-sealing touchdown on a 4th down, mind you, in the 4th quarter. So definitely got to give it to my man Tank. And then in the NFC, whether folks think these are pedestrian numbers or not, I look at more circumstance and just the level of victory. I gotta give it to quarterback Josh Dobbs. This is a man who graduated from Tennessee with a 4.0 GPA in aerospace engineering. He was drafted by your Steelers, Jordan, and he bounced around a couple teams, but he got his first win, a huge win against the Cowboys. 17 of 21 for 189. He had a touchdown pass, 6 carries for 55 yards, passer rating of 120.0, QBR of 84.0. Congratulations, Steve Urkel. You earned it.
He said Steve Urkel. Shout out to that man, Josh Dobbs, man.
The Steelers actually thought Josh Dobbs was going to replace
Charlie
Ben Roethlisberger.
He should have, Joe. He should have. We didn't give him a chance.
Okay, Jay took mine. I was going to pick Josh Dobbs, but I'll go in a different direction.
You were going to pick a guy that crushed the Cowboys? Why am I not surprised?
Well, I think Josh Dobbs on the stat sheet doesn't look that impressive, but he was dealing. He took what the defense gave him, and he made plays with his arm. He made plays with his feet, and he outplayed Dak Prescott in this game to his credit. So I have to give him a lot of credit. But
he's one of those you have to see it.
I want to give a shout out. I want to give my shout out to my guy AJ Brown. There was a lot of controversy with him following the Vikings game. Talking with Jalen Hurts, getting a little animated on the sideline. A lot of people thought maybe there could be some problems. He responded with having over 130-something yards receiving. He could have had a monster game. He dropped 2 touchdowns.
I wish.
From AJ. But still good performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And on the AFC side, I'm going to take this in a different direction. And I'm going to say I'm giving my gauntlet grinder to the Buffalo Bills defense for what they did. It was an amazing performance. First of all, you sacked Sam Howell 9 times, forced 5 takeaways, 4 interceptions for Sam Howell on the day. Sam Howell was just an absolute hell. 9 sacks, 4 interceptions, 5 total takeaways overall, and 15 quarterback hits. The offensive line of the Commanders had no answer for what Buffalo was trying to do. They controlled the line of scrimmage pretty much from the first snap. So I got to give it to the Buffalo Bills defense. Just a great performance by them.
Excuse me. I got a bone to pick with you guys because I'm sick and tired of AJ Brown helping me lose money because I took his touchdown prop 2 straight weeks in a row. And like you just pointed out, he ain't catching them. I don't.
He said he ate Takis or something before the game, and he had a stomach ache.
He caught the touchdown. Now, granted, the last time
you got a bone to pick.
Granted, he caught the touchdown. It was a penalty.
I'm 0-3 in fantasy football because of him.
I'm just like, okay, AJ, you got it. And then I was like, AJ, what happened? Like,
The
what's going
first
on?
one I let it go, but the second one I was like, I can't have this stuff anymore, bro.
Hey, James.
You
James.
can't.
But anyway, man, let's talk about some college football now. The biggest story has been Deion Sanders as the head coach of Colorado and what he's done there, coming from Jackson State. A little bit of a bigger program here, trying to make a name for himself. He's had the attention of the whole sports world for what he's been doing over there. Colorado was absolutely destroyed by the Oregon Ducks, as JJ was talking about in his Sports Moron segment. So let's just break this down, guys. What is everyone's thoughts about Deion Sanders, about the Colorado team, and everything that's going on there? Jordan, you can go ahead and start us off again.
I mean, as you all know, I don't really watch college football.
Yeah.
But I feel like the majority of us knew this was coming. We got a low-level Colorado program getting hyped because they won their first couple games. Granted, respect to you, and they got Deion at the helm. But now you're playing ranked teams. Oregon beat the brakes off of them, and now they have to play USC.
Yep.
So we're talking about the projected number 1 overall pick in the draft about to play this team that just got gutted by an Oregon team. I don't know, man. But as far as humbling them, I don't know. I just can't say it because the way they went into that game was a little bit ridiculous. I seen snippets of their players jawing before the game, and it was like, man, y'all acting like you beat this team 30 times in a row.
So what did you guys think about the head coach of Oregon and the pregame speech where he said, you guys are trying to make clicks and stuff and we're trying to win games. And, the game isn't being played on Hollywood, it's being played on grass. Like, what's everyone's thoughts about that?
Coach said, mic drop.
JJ, you got any thoughts on that speech or anything?
Couple of things. While he may be wrong that they're not playing for clicks, you got to motivate your team. And then the context of it, of course, as sports media shows, the context when they presented it wasn't what the speech was. He was really trying to motivate his team. And then they probably saw what they were doing beforehand anyway. And that's what he kind of led to that, because you're not going to tell me on social media you didn't see that. Now, to the Colorado program itself, if this was a movie, let's say like the Remember the Titans, when you face that big bad wolf and get beat again, it's up to see what your coach is going to do. And if you actually had that mentality where you were talking trash and you got throttled, now you got the best team in the conference, an arguable college football playoff team with the Heisman winner who may win a Heisman again come into town. So I'm curious to see what Deion is going to do, because I don't know if Deion was really the one that was going to be for all of that, because I think one thing about Deion is that he talked that talk, but when he got beat, he ate that pie and figured it out and came back the next time. So we're going to see if these guys are going to resonate with that, because I do agree. I was watching Undisputed earlier this week. I understand the hatred towards Deion, because if I'm a coach, I had to work my way up. And here's the guy that comes in as instant success. I'm going to feel slighted a little bit because he's getting all this coverage and you're sitting there looking at me and stuff like that. So yeah, now you got the team's best to best. This should help Deion next year. This should help Deion for years to come, because this is a trial year. And I think no matter what happens the rest of the year, if they finish 5-7 or 7-6, I think no matter what they do, the fact that they've won more than last year and have drawn attention and getting the number 1 recruit visiting the quarterback of 2025, all these things is going to be a success this year. But yeah, like now everybody has circled you on their calendar. Everybody has looked at you as like, oh, you're coming to town. So while USC probably was not going to give you their best effort before this whole thing went down, they are going to give it to you now. They are going to give it to you now. They're going to treat you like you're supposed to be treated. And like I said, Deion wants that, but they're a good program. I didn't expect success this early. I usually give new college coaches 4 years to develop their team. And so for him, he knows what he needs to do. Next year, that offensive line is going to get together. But this year, I expect them to get killed. I expect that defense. Okay. I expect them to get killed.
All right, Dom, we'll go to you next.
I had that Oregon game circled on the calendar because only at that point did we find out what Colorado really is. Now, are they really that bad? In comparison to Oregon, yes. Beating a TCU team that was ranked based upon what they did last year, like, okay, cool. Then they beat Nebraska. That would have been impressive in 1995. Then you struggled mightily and had to go to overtime and keep me up till 2 a.m. to beat a 3-win Colorado State team. And then look what Oregon did. And now you got USC. And then you get, I guess UCLA is no longer ranked. Then you get number 19 Oregon State, Arizona, number 15 Wazoo, and you finish the season with Utah. I don't know that they win any of those games against the ranked teams. And I like Deion, but like I told everyone off rips, pump your brakes, and then look what happened. But I mean, 3 wins in 3 games versus the one last year, like that's awesome. But now it's real. And by the way, the Pac-12 is as good or better than it's been in a long time.
Better watch out for that team in Washington, bro.
That's it.
Dom, I agree with everything you just said.
Jay?
Jay, go ahead.
To answer your question as far as the Oregon coach and what he said to his players, he's not wrong. He's not wrong because you got to look at the grand scope of things because he's not just talking about this game. Bear in mind, the Oregon Ducks at the time were the number 10 team in the nation. So what that exactly means is that it's early in the year. So if we win out and win the conference, and remember, the class of the conference, people are saying is USC. Utah is actually the current back-to-back Pac-12 champions. So you got another test there. So if we win out and everyone else loses because other teams have got to lose, we may find ourselves in the Final Four come January. So that comment that he made was in the grand scope of things. Also, Colorado has got it really hard right now for another reason, and that is right now they are in the Pac-12. They got to turn right around and learn a new conference next year when they're back in the Big 12. As far as the game itself goes, they got humbled. There's no doubt about it. It's the very reason why Tom Brady told Shedeur Sanders, don't be worried about a Rolls Royce right now. You need to be in the film room. Games exactly like this. You need to be in the film room, okay? That's not sitting here saying that when you make it, you can't treat yourself fine, but spend more time in the film room than in the showroom. Spend more time in the film room than in that car. I think this will humble them. I think they're going to be all right. I still have them at 6 wins. I do. I think Jacob Christmas had him at 9 wins. It's anyone's guess, but I still got him at 6 wins and making a bowl, which is still an overachievement compared to last year.
I think Tyler's absolutely right as well with this comment here. People trying to say it was a 1-win team and stuff. This guy brought however many 5-stars in the transfer portal. So, yeah, I'm not going down with that. I'll keep this to the point. I love Deion Sanders, and I really want him to be a successful coach. I want him to do great things and all this stuff. But I think some things have kind of gotten away from him and the team. They have been in the spotlight, obviously. They're bringing a lot of attention to themselves. They're talking a lot of stuff, as you guys were saying, and they obviously were humbled by the Oregon Ducks. And USC is a better team than Oregon. I expect them to also get destroyed by USC. I don't think it's going to be competitive or close in any way. But here's the main issue. Here's the main issue that I have is that the reaction to the Deion Sanders / Colorado criticism and the outrage by people, whether it's fans or people in social media or people in the media on TV and journalists and what have you, you criticize or say anything about Deion Sanders or the team in your ratings. I do not agree with that whatsoever. It's like too much is given, too much is expected. So if you're out here talking all this stuff, then back it up on the field. And you're also going to have to do it against the big boys because you have created that expectation of yourself. You should have a high
Mhm.
expectation of yourself, but when you don't reach it, then yes, there is going to be people that criticizes you, but it's very weak of people to play the cop out and say, if you criticize Deion Sanders, if you criticize Colorado, you're a racist and you want the man to fail and all this stuff. People don't want him to fail. People have criticism. And as I said, when much is given, much is expected, and that's pretty much it.
To your point, and I'll end with this. This is the difference between being confident and arrogant. And the way I've understood it is, when you're confident, you're great, but you respect your other team that you're facing and know that they're just as great. You're arrogant where you think that nobody is above you, that no one can touch you. And the way they showed this game, the best of the best are confident. Deion's going to find out who is really like him, because a lot of these guys, I think, coach find guys like him. As confident as he was, he still respected his opponents. He still respected Jerry Rice, the Andre Risons, all of them. Are you going to respect your opponent? Because you can still think you win, but you don't want to go sit there barking up the wrong tree, because in college football, they take it personal and they will run up the score on you. And trust and believe, if you do this to USC, they seem like the team that will try to put on 80 points on you.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
But moving on, guys, we got to talk some more stuff going on in the NFL. The biggest talk, really, this season,
Push,
as
push.
the
I don't
Eagles
even know what this
started
play is.
they're 3-0 to start the season. Dating back to last year, they started running the tush push play, which some people are also calling the brotherly shove. I kind of like that.
My
So
brother.
it's a short yardage play, and
When
there's
Bob
been a lot
said
of
that, I was
controversy
dead.
around this play. A lot of people have been saying that this play should be removed from the league. It should be illegal. It's a rugby play, stuff like that. So is it really
Wasn't it
that
already illegal?
concerning? Should the league look into removing it or not? Big deal or no big deal? Jordan, I'm going to go to you again to start us off. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to start by saying I definitely seen my brother comment on your post and call it the brotherly shove. So shout
Kinda
out
like
to
that one.
him.
Yeah.
That was amazing. But no, there is nothing wrong with this play. Learn how to stop it or do it your damn self. That's what it is. Period. You either put your biggest personnel up front to push back, or you're not going to stop it. That's just what it is. Like, I don't see the controversy behind this play. It's a QB sneak. You know it's coming, but you still cannot stop it. So why are you mad?
Automatic. All right, Joseph.
I just think what Richard Sherman said is very plausible here. Because if we're going to allow this play, and I have to do some research because I was talking to Tom Kramer, shout out to him. I think this play was considered illegal, but now it's not been considered legal. And I think if defensive players can't do the same in reverse to stop it, then offensive players should not be the same in trying to prevent it. If you're going to allow it, I have no problem with that, but allow the defenders to do the exact same thing. Because right now, defenders can't do that. That's a penalty. So you got to make it, in my opinion, even on this front, just because I don't mind the play, but I also don't mind a defense doing what they need to do to stop the play.
Exactly.
And if it's not that case, then either make that play make them available to do that as well, or just consider the play illegal.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic.
Yeah, it's like Jordan said. Figure out a way to stop it or don't. Or, do it more yourself. Clearly it's a legal play. I mean, in the eyes of some, victims of it, like teams that you've done it, or teams that you've done it against that, suffered consequences from it. It seems kind of unfair because Philly's O-line is already so good, but guess what? That's playing to your strengths. It's smart. Either figure out a way to stop it or don't, but don't complain about it because you have the same opportunity to do the same thing. They've just figured out something that works and they're exploiting it. It's smart football.
Do you
Fair
think?
enough.
Let me ask you guys a question. You guys have chance. They already get forward progress. Do you think that alone should be enough? Because in a way, the tush push helps forward progress, and I think
Put that
that's what
comment back out.
I think that's what defenders are considering and wondering about.
I have a rebuttal to that, but I'm gonna wait until it's my turn to bring up my rebuttal to that. But Jay, you go ahead.
They said this is what I was talking about before the show. They said this is the exact same controversy when the Reggie Bush push happened in 2006, when there was the play that won the game against Notre Dame, speaking of USC. And they said the exact same thing. Now, people say, oh, well, it's a rugby-esque play. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't go down. A lot of American football is similar to rugby. And I'm going to be the fifth person that says it on this panel. You find a way to stop it. It's not an illegal play. Any coach will tell you lowest man wins. Anybody on this panel that's ever played organized football, their coach will tell you lowest man wins, low center of gravity. You want to stop it? Get lower than that man, bring him down. Grab a shoulder pad. Don't grab a face mask. Grab a shoulder pad or something. Bring that man down short of the goal line. That is literally your job. And if you can't do it, you deserve to get scored on. So this is just another thing folks just want to complain about. Mm-hmm. And it's and you know what? With enough crying, they're going to turn right around and take the play away. And then everybody, yours truly included, to say like, oh, well, football ain't football no more. God. No, absolutely. It should not be banned. It's a part of football. It's always been a part of football. And then there's this jewel right here that nobody actually did it when, and I'm a Brady fan, but no one said anything when he did it. But now all of a sudden they want to cry whenever it's somebody else. So usually it's their team getting scored on that it's happening to. Eagles was doing this last year. Why are you choosing now to say something? This ain't the first time.
They were crying about it last year.
They were talking about it last year, bro.
They've been crying about it.
I didn't hear not one word. Now that's just me. I didn't hear not one word. But
they actually did try to take it to the league office during the off season, but they did not receive enough votes to determine that it should be illegal or whatever. So they voted on it and it was unsuccessful. But to be honest with you guys, this is no big deal to me because this is a basic short yardage play, and when it comes to the Eagles running it, does it give them an advantage? I don't see why it gives them an advantage more than any other team because other teams can run it. There's not a rule in the rule book that says only the Philadelphia Eagles can run this play. Other teams can run this play, but other teams have not put the time in to perfect this play and work on this play, so it works on a 92% conversion rate. To Joseph's point about the push giving the team an advantage, let me explain something to you. Jalen Hurts has a very powerful lower body. He can squat over 600 pounds. He does not need help to get a yard. We have seen him play in his career where he runs through people because he just spends so much time in the weight room working on his lower body strength. He doesn't need any help, brother. I can assure you on that. So people are complaining about something that they can't do because they don't have a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. They don't have an offensive line with Lane Johnson, Hall of Famer, Jason Kelsey, Hall of Famer, Jordan Mailata, Pro Bowl, Landon Dickerson, Pro Bowl. These guys are the best offensive line in the league. So they make it look easier than it actually is because some of these teams have run this play. The Indianapolis Colts ran this play with Anthony Richardson week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, went on 4th down, and they were stopped short. Why? Because they don't have the Eagles' offensive line. That's why. So at the end of the day,
he doesn't squat 600 pounds.
I think people just are upset that they're not able to run this play as effectively and efficiently as the Philadelphia Eagles have.
But you said it. He said he has a lower trunk. He doesn't need to have the tush push, but yet they still do it.
He doesn't need it.
So that means he might need it if they might have stopped him initially, but the tush push continued to push him through. Because from what I've seen, sometimes there were some points where it was stopped initially, but they do allow the runner a couple of more seconds to try to get the next one. And so that's where the tush push comes in handy.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment now. It's time to step into the gauntlet. So I need Jay or somebody to start a timer for me when I say go on my signal.
All right, hang on.
We're going to have 1 minute. Just 1 minute for this segment.
1 minute.
Can I be Jimmy Johnson?
Do not think. Just say the first thing that comes to your head. Step into the gauntlet. Now, Justin Fields edition. Justin Fields or Zach Wilson?
Pass.
Jesus.
I'm taking Justin Fields.
Wait, does it go to me or who?
I thought you were calling people's name and going in order. That's why I
Yeah,
said
me
No,
too.
everyone go. Everyone go.
Fields.
Oh.
Fields. I'll be short. Fields rushed 4,000 yards. Fields.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll take Fields. Justin Fields or
Fields.
Mac Jones?
Mac
I'm going
Jones.
with Mac Jones here.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Mac
Definitely
Jones.
Mac Jones.
Okay. Justin Fields or Taylor Heineke?
Heineke.
Justin Fields.
Heineke.
Heineke.
Justin Fields.
Justin
Heineke
Fields.
can
Kenny
actually throw.
Pickett.
Heineke.
Wait, who would pick it?
Kenny Pickett. Justin
Kenny
Fields.
Pickett.
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
Damn, I'm trying to
Oh,
find
Pickett,
someone
sure.
more hard. Anthony
Even though he's
Richardson.
got smaller hands than Jordan.
I'm taking Anthony Richardson.
Anthony
AR5.
Richardson.
AR5.
I'm not going to say anything because I still don't know. I haven't really quite seen AR with adversity. It's only
Ryan
been 3
Tannehill.
All right, you're
or
taking
Justin
too long.
Fields.
Doesn't matter.
Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Yeah.
At least been to the
Tannehill has a playoff win.
Yeah.
Tanny boy.
Okay.
Oh, neither.
Last one here. Let's try to make this really difficult.
Make Don cringe. Let's make Dom cringe.
All right. How about Sam Howell or Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
How?
Whoa.
I don't know.
Despite Sunday, I'd still take Howell.
I'll take what I don't know about Howell over what I do
I'm
know
taking
about-
Howell.
I'm taking Howell.
You gotta go with
I'm
the
going with
devil.
Howell.
Exactly.
You gotta go with the devil you don't know versus the devil you know.
So this is my problem with this whole thing. Is that in the
I'll
matter?
stand alone.
What's your
I know
problem,
L-
Joseph?
I know Washington is catering to Sam Howell's strengths. I do not see Chicago doing the same thing because when I seen Chicago do the same thing, they looked better with Justin Fields.
Because he has none.
Okay, Joseph, this segment is about not thinking, though. So without thinking, Justin Fields, Sam Howell.
Tom just got
Who you
so
going
mad.
with?
Justin Fields.
Okay, you going Justin Fields?
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm not
we're
alone.
gonna do more. We're gonna do more of these in the future. We're gonna try to make it interesting. So definitely an interesting new segment. That was
Rapid fire.
glad we could introduce that. So
Yeah.
we got just about enough
Hey, I
time.
like that.
Yeah, great idea. So we got just about enough time to talk about our non-sports topic, which is going to be really interesting. Shout out to Jay for bringing this up. When it comes to the cost of living, which I think we all know that as adults, the cost of living is crazy. The cost of rent is crazy in pretty much everywhere you try to live. Even if you try to live somewhere that has a lower cost of living, it may be lower for rent or something, but the other expenses may be higher. Like you go to the grocery store, groceries are insane. So you need to basically make a really good salary just to live a normal life, which is crazy. So this begs the question, in like 10 years time, where are we going to be? Are we going to be off better or worse? I would hope that it's going to be better, but I don't know. I don't really have a reason to think it's going to be better because it has continued to get worse. So what are you guys thinking? Like, is the cost of living going to get to the point where it could be an unlivable situation and people just try to move to Europe or somewhere else where they can actually survive?
Well, James, you just came from LA, and I know you had a ball out there, but I know one thing.
I could not afford to live out there, bro.
Exactly. It
No.
was mad expensive.
I'm good with staying in Philly.
I'll give everyone some context here. An LAPD sergeant with 6 years on the force makes $200,000 in LA a year, $200,000 a year, and out there that's considered middle class. Me personally, I think that in 10 years, you're going to need to pull in at least $1 million a year to even live decent, to even live middle class. $1 million a year. Think about that. Okay. because only 10% of men in the United States make six figures or above. So seven figures, that's a smaller, that gap gets way smaller. You see what I mean? So, I mean, places like LA and New York, and it's just mad expensive. It's also the very reason why people are leaving California. They're going to Texas, they're going to Florida, they're going to Louisiana, they're going everywhere else, pretty much. I think in 10 years, LA will be a solely tourist city, and only elites or people in the ghetto are going to be living there. Because the plan is to eliminate the middle class. It's been like this for the last 20, 30, 40 some years. The plan has been to always cut out the middle class. And I don't want to get too deep on my conspiracy ish or nothing. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what I mean. But I'm gonna pass the mic on this one. Those are my thoughts on it.
Fair enough. Seems very valid. Anybody that wants to pick up the mic, go ahead.
I live in DC, so cost of living type stuff. This stuff is not uncommon for me. And ironically, LA, in terms of job market for cost of living and purse pay, is below DC for certain jobs because DC does pay well. They say you have to average about $90,000 to $95,000 a year to live comfortable in DC.
That's crazy, man.
And the funny thing is, I don't necessarily think, it's going to get to a point beyond belief. I think what has to happen now is that we need to really put an emphasis on putting programs out for people, because 9 times out of 10, I can't speak for every government, but in DC, it has high cost of living, but every one of these luxury style apartments that are like $3,000 or $4,000 a month has a certain floors for lower income people called Section 8, where you qualify and you get a chance to get a nice apartment, but it's up to you to maintain it and do what you have to do. I don't know if it's for other people, but I think as long as we still have that, you're never going to have a situation where it's going to get to a point where it's beyond control. Because like in DC, it's a government mandate. Like any new apartment complex, no matter where it is, has to have certain sections available for people that can't afford it. Because 9 times out of 10, you push those people out to build those places.
Mm-hmm.
Very valid. Very valid.
Jordan, what do you think?
I try to get on phone.
I think he's coming in and out. Signal.
No, he's breaking up a little bit. Dom, you can pick it up.
I won't say near impossible. Like it's always been, well, maybe not always. Things aren't getting any easier, but we will see a leveling. Like, what am I even trying to say? It won't get to the point of near impossible, but it's never going to get any easier.
At all.
Really, that's it.
I like that take.
Also, sidebar, if you don't want it to get even more difficult, maybe don't reelect the former president that might go to prison because he didn't help matters. Everyone thought that free money during the pandemic was great, but guess what? That's what caused this sky-high inflation. Because you can't just...
I totally agree with that.
$3,000. It's like they were printing money, and now they wonder why everything costs so much.
Jordo, you were gonna go?
Totally agree.
You kind of broke up.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. We got you, brother. Go ahead.
Next time I do this, I'm gonna use a laptop because my phone ain't it.
Respect.
The minimum wage in Pennsylvania, I don't know about Philly, but Pittsburgh in general, it's like $7.25 still.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It's $15.
Get the hell out of here.
Unless they raised it and I did not get notified about
They
it.
have to have raised it. That's insane.
That's
And
terrible.
so, I'm just saying, I may be living in the past. I've been
I might press somebody
living
to
my
say-
life like I'm not living for that, whatever. But yes, I mean, the cost of living so much here isn't terrible. But at the same time, every single year they keep raising prices on everything, despite what that minimum wage is.
See,
You
what
pay thousands of dollars in tax.
You're right, Jordan. I look.
Like,
What is
I'm pretty
it?
sure.
It said $7.25 is the federal minimum wage.
Yep.
Oh heck no!
My check,
Oh,
every time I
heck
get paid from
no.
work, my check gets taxed at least 25%.
Right. I mean, it's the same way for me, bro. Pennsylvania is like a tax vacuum.
That's nuts.
It's insane, bro.
25% of your check, bro.
At least 25%, if not more.
Sadly, there is no
It's
end to
not
this.
appreciably
I
more than
personally-
anywhere else.
Sadly, it's no end to this because I personally feel like a lot of the reasons why stuff are rising is because government officials are stealing money and they don't want to admit it. So as long as these people continue to steal money from us, there's going to be more times that we have to rise. And I know that specifically within DC government because while you may can be controlled or certain things, you have parking tickets, you have speeding tickets, you have other different things to help you continue to lose money and spend money, all because like in DC's situation, our previous mayor, every one of his constituents on his administration stole money from DC. So what happens with that? Living rises. Like I'm thankful. I've been here for 8 years because I'm paying probably like almost $1,000 less than what it should be for the going rate for my basement apartment. And that's crazy.
Yes, Bacon Grizzler. I've said it for years and years. I agree.
Me too. I just ain't gonna speak too much on here. I don't want to be next on the hit list.
Red pilling too hard, huh?
But it's
I
never
am all
going
the
to
way
change.
down the rabbit hole.
But this is like an unstoppable force meeting a movable object.
Yeah.
You want lower cost of living, you're not going to get the high paying jobs. You want the high paying jobs, you ain't going to get the lower cost of living. Like you got to find those in between cities that are up and coming, like a Charlotte, like a Houston, or someone that is still considered not to DC or LA or New York, but it's also not small to a point where you can't find a good job. Like if you have a job at the bank, the hospital, the government, or whatever, 9 times out of 10, you have a chance to make it there in those places. Like one of the reasons why I'm happy to stay at Chase is that I know Chase can pay whenever I want. If I go anywhere, I know they have a chance. I could go to Charlotte or Houston and ask for a higher salary because that's what Chase has.
I
But
would rather
other
go to
companies-
Houston because Texas doesn't have state income tax.
No state tax.
They do, but I'm afraid. What's the point of going
No,
to
they
a
don't either.
state where
I
I'm
didn't know
going to
that.
die on the highway because people out here just think like it's just the wild, wild west?
Mm-hmm.
They drive just like that in DC, brother. I've been there.
Nah, not at close.
They got crazy drivers everywhere.
Jay had took me to my mom's house, and when I tell you I was sitting there complaining almost the entire time.
Oh, the whole ride.
Like,
The
what is
whole-
going on here? Like,
Okay,
what's up with y'all?
so where we was at, so we were in Pearland, which is a suburb of Houston, and I had to drive him past Bush Intercontinental, like to like North Houston. So it was a good like hour drive, and the whole way, JoJo was in that passenger seat cussing every driver out. Man, it was hilarious.
Like, I was like, that's illegal. That's illegal. That's illegal.
Took a
That's
video.
illegal. Like, okay, like, what's going on?
JJ has road rage.
No, but I say that to say, like, honestly, I am kind of spoiled living in DC with this salary, so it's kind of very difficult because when I do want to go to a place like a Charlotte, a Houston, a Chicago, or a Milwaukee, somewhere that is still considered a big city but not big city, it's going to be very hard for me to get the same. I can't get 2 birds in one stone. I can't get the low cost of living and high salary. I got to get one or the other.
Yeah, JJ definitely got road rage, but it's like a friendly kind of road rage. It's like he just knocks on your window, like, "Excuse me, sir."
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's JJ's
I literally
road
would
rage.
do that. I would be like, "Excuse," and like
Oh, JJ.
down in Houston, I'd be like, "Why you got to pull your gun out?" I was just asking you a question. That's all.
I
I'm
mean,
asking.
did you
I
really
wasn't
just try to
understand.
compare
Being all
Chicago
nice
and Milwaukee
and
directly?
Oh no! And Houston,
Chicago is the
Houston,
third most
Texas,
populated
Mr.
city in the country after New
Mr.
York and
Bacon
LA.
Blister in Houston, because those people got guns, they may shoot you if you say something to them. Like when you
They'll
tell
shoot
somebody,
you in DC, brother. They'll shoot you in Philly. They'll shoot you anywhere.
the
That's
difference
not.
is,
I don't know why you
I
think
will
that's
say
exclusive
this.
to H-Town,
All
but
I'm
it's
saying
not.
is
I
you'll
will say
definitely
this.
get
I
shot in
will say
McKeesport.
this. DC, because DC has way more cop presence to make people not think twice about doing something. I've never had to worry about a fender bender turning me into basically being killed, which has happened in Texas because everybody got a gun. Even the dog on the street got a gun.
Oh yeah, open carry state.
Yep. That's why
You
if
got
you ever come
motherfucking
around,
Fido over here and Benji over here about to gas you with the Glock, and you sit there thinking like, but you're a dog.
you keep running your mouth like that, Mango gonna bust the cap in your ass. So that's all we got time tonight,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Show, man.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I hope everybody had a great time. We had a great
Shout
time on
out
the
to
show
Benji.
tonight. Make sure you guys tune in on Sideline Sport Network airwaves for all the great shows that we have. We will be back next Friday night, same time, same place, to talk more NFL with you guys. With that being said, we're signing off for the night. See you guys next time.
Yeah, I see the Brad Pitt when he was in that video and that GIF. He's like,
I'm running the video. Go drink your Ciroc.
Run it.
Oh man. Yeah.